Welcome to the Great International Craft Show here in September in Australia, or Gics11 as it also is commonly known as. Welcome to my final class for the 4 days. Wow, the 4 days has flown by. They always do. Does it a real craft show? Doesn't an in-person craft show, I'll put it that way. So today we are going to make this fantastic scrapbooking page using one of my stencils. You'll see it in a minute because I've misplaced it under a mess on my desk, which is nothing unusual, with some oxide inks. So if you've got any questions, I will be here chatting in the comments, so definitely ask away if you've got any questions or queries. And I've mentioned some links in the video, and I will be sure, hopefully, to remember when I hear myself say it, to link it in the chat box or just prompt me. And if you are watching this on replay on YouTube, hi, welcome. If you've got any questions or comments, pop them in the comments and I will get back to you when I can. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's get started on this layout. So in this layout, I am going to use one of our new stencils. So it's a stencil set. You get a stencil and a mask set. So you get these two pieces, plus you get these 3 masks that come out. So you can do lots of different things with them. Probably not going to use the actual masks today. I'm going to use the stencils. So I'm going to put those in a little lunch bag because things like that go missing all the time in my house. Okay, so I am working with some Distress Oxide inks. And I've just grabbed a range of colours, and I've got a black. And I'm going to be working on a piece of Beati mixed media cardstock, just because I may be adding more mixed media to it later. And I also had a bit of white, oh, I'll put it off to the side, a bit of white cardstock as well, just ordinary 200 GSM cardstock. So with this stencil set, you'll have to excuse mine's got paint all over it. I don't clean my stencils unless I use texture paste, but it's okay to leave the paint on the stencils. What I'm going to do first is do some coloured baubles. So I'm going to put this one aside and use this one in a minute. So we're going to do some coloured baubles. So I've got seedless preserves, wild honey, picked raspberry, and peacock feathers, all in Distress Oxides. And I've got a blending brush, and I've also got my big blending brush as well, Monster. So my idea is to have sort of a cascade of baubles down this side of the page, a photo here, and a few more embellishments. But we'll start with these. So what I want to do is probably start with positioning a couple of big ones, and then I'm going to fill it in with little ones, and then I'm going to do some on a plain piece of paper, cut them out and stack them up so it looks like a whole lot of baubles hanging. That's the idea anyway. So I'm just going to grab a roll of paper towel, which I've got stuck. Oh, take one thing from underneath and everything collapses. So to clean these blending brushes, these are all little bristles. So to clean them, I just grab a roll of paper towel or a dry baby wipe and brush it on. And as long as no ink is coming out, I'm right to go. Just wanted to check that I hadn't used this on black archival ink and then go put in my yellow ink pad. Not a good idea. So I'm just going to rub it on the ink pad. Going to hold the stencil, go round and round and round and round in circles. I'm sorry if the table is wobbling a bit. You can tape your stencil down with a bit of repositionable tape. I don't, because I tend to tear my paper when I do that for some reason. So I'm not worrying if my blending is not 100% solid, because I am going to lay the black. Oh, I just moved it a bit. That's not what I want to do. I want to lay the black design over the top. So most of this is going to be covered up. I just want some colour shining through. Okay. So while I've got this colour ink out, I'm going to grab my piece of cardstock and I'm going to do another one. This one is to possibly cut out. I'm going to do some of every colour and then decide which ones I want to cut out, just so it's just so I have some things to play with. These blending brushes are fantastic for doing ink blending. Not worried that it's got dark spots and light spots. It does not bother me now. I might do a smaller one in this colour as well. Hoping the table isn't rocking too much. I'm trying to be careful. Okay, and then I'm going to come back. So I'm going to be working from piece to piece. This one I'm deliberately positioning where I want them. This one I'm just throwing them anywhere because I'm going to cut it up. So let's do this one up here. I deliberately want to offset some off to the side as well. My ink pads probably need a good, whoops, re-inking. Did I find my re-inkers? And I want to do a third one just sort of maybe up here. So because I'm using the Distress Oxide inks, I'll be able to overlap them a bit in inking. So I'm done with that colour. So let's put that ink pad back out of the way, and I'll just take my paper towel and just scrub over. See, very little ink is coming out. These brushes hold a lot of ink, but not a lot of ink, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go, I like to go lightest to darkest because then I'm not going from like purple to yellow and cross-contaminating. If I get a little bit of yellow in my picked raspberry, it's not the end of the world, but if I get a little bit of like purple in my yellow, can cross-contaminate. Now, I'm going to use the middle bauble size up here. And I don't mind if there's a little bit of yellow in the brush. I tend to not clean these brushes. I just clean. I don't tend to clean them with water. I'm sorry. I don't tend to clean them with water or anything. Eventually, I will give them a good soak, but I don't want to wet the bristles and then having to go back and use them. So I'm not going to do a big one this time. Just going to do a small one and a medium-sized one. And then I'm going to do maybe a big one on... Sort of try to envisage in my head where I want bits and what sizes I want. So let's do a pink middle-sized one and maybe a little one. When I cut these out, I can always come back and do some more. I've got this picture in my head of what the layout will look like. Let's see if the picture in my head and the layout at the end of the day looks the same or looks very different. Oh. So just going round and round. Okay, so I think I'm done with pink. I'm liking this so far. Again, just scrub this off. The one thing you've just got to watch is because these are water reactive inks, if I leave the ink, I'll usually just grab a baby wipe and just wipe it off, because if I leave it on and go to spray something or go to use, say, clear texture paste or gesso through it, the water reactive ink will pick up again, but I think now I'll do blue next. The paint won't, because the paint's permanent. It's been a long 4 days here at the Great International Craft Show. I've been madly packing orders all day, and I've got some more to do later. You girls have just been beautiful, jumping on my website and buying all the things I play with, which is always fantastic. And I think I want to introduce another big one. I think I want to introduce like half down here. I'm going to turn my page around just so it's easier for me to do. Actually, do I want something like that? Thinking I want something like that. If I don't like this in the end, I'll just grab another sheet of paper and go again, and these ones can just be cut up. So don't think you're going to waste a bit of paper if you stuff up and put a bauble where you don't want it. I'm sort of trying to get a flow of baubles, sort of not wanting all the same shapes together. So I've sort of got little ones. I'm going to put a couple of little ones over here. My photo is sort of going to sit over here. do I want big one or do I want little ones? I'll do probably a medium one and a big one in the blue. As I said, I can always come back and do another one if I need in another colour. And I'll have spares to do, put in my, as I call my one-day box, and one day I'll use them. Did I say? Yeah, I'll do a big blue one. I haven't done a big one since yellow. So this cardstock has got a bit of a different finish to it, so it's a little more scratchy in design with the ink, but you're not going to see it when I put the black over the top. You're just going to see the colour. So that really doesn't bother me. Added texture. And if you do want to smooth it off, all you do is keep going round and round and round. And the more you go round and round and round, the more you'll add and build up your colour. Okay, so I'm done with that one for the moment. Let's bring some purple in. So let's clean this brush. Give a nice rainbow on my bit of paper towel. Stick that up there. That doesn't fall off the table. Now we have got seedless preserves. And I'm going to go big one here, medium one here. And I oopsied here, don't worry, that's where I can stick another layer. I oopsied across the edge of the stencil, which you just got to watch. I want one up here and then I want something else here, so I might do a little one up here. Just want him just touching the edge. I design and make all these stencils, so I try to leave enough room on the edge of the stencil so you don't accidentally go over and do that. But it's also a toss-up of trying to give you as many designs as possible or as much as possible on the stencil without compromising the... Okay, I don't want another dark one there. What colour? I think I want to go back to pink. Put a pink one here, and then I think we're done this bit. Okay, let's do some... I was about to pause before I sneezed, but I wasn't quick enough. I do apologise. If I remember, I'll edit out my sneeze. I was outside today gardening, and I think hay's got up my nose. Pollen's got up my nose. Oops. And I just want to do another one over here, little one over here. I like this seedless preserves. It's really cute. Cute colour. Okay, so let's put that away. Do one over here, pink. It was a gorgeous day here in Bendigo. It was a shame to be stuck inside most of it. Okay, so I'm going back to, let me go find my pink. Picked raspberry, and we want, I think we want a medium in here. Let's just wipe a bit of that purple off. Just using it's a tissue I've just picked up. Don't really want to introduce any water, so anything dry will wipe it off. Now, do I want to just do a hint of a big one, or do I want to do a small one? I don't really want to have like this one and then this one in line, so I think I'm going to do a hint of a big one, like sort of here. Maybe I don't want to do half, I want to do like a third. Let's do a third. And we're going to add black to the top of them, and our page will start taking shape. So this is a bit of a time-consuming process, but I'm sure in the end it will be well worth it. Wow, okay, I'm liking that. And I'm trying not to get fingerprints over the rest of my page. I'm the worst for getting fingerprints everywhere now. This would be fun with black because I'm sure I'll end up with a big black fingerprint, but that's okay. We can cover lots of things up. I'm good at covering things up. Like this whoopsie down here. Oh no. Okay, now we're going to grab the other stencil, which is the detailed part of the stencil, and we're going to put some black soot over the stencils. So let's have a practice on this one in case I stuff it up, and then we can always then work on our piece. So when you line up this with this is slightly smaller than the bauble, so you should be able to see through, and I apologise if my head gets in the way, you should be able to see through the stencil, and if you can sort of see through here with the blue. It's a bit hard to see because I've got black paint all over it, but I sort of just flick it up and we are good to go. If you do it off center, what we can do is just trim it around. So I'm just going to go into my black soot and do the same thing round and round, and I'll put this design on it. Oh, I think my black soot is needing re-inking, but I don't want it to be dark. If I wanted it to be super dark, I'd use like gesso or paint. And before I pick my stencil up, I'm just going to hold it down and have a sticky. Ooh, pretty. Pretty, pretty. Let's repeat and do the rest of those. Let's do this other big one. So the yellow is a bit harder to see. So I'm just flipping up the stencil and sort of seeing where the edge sits to where my yellow is. So you should have a couple of mil of yellow on the outside of this line here. Definitely think I need to go find my black inker after this project. I've been using my oxide inks, oops, put my finger in the ink pad, a lot lately. So they are getting quite juicy. Just going to pause for 1 second. Sorry about that. When I say I'm going to pause, I either need to go get something, dry something. I'll probably go sneeze at the moment. Oh, I should have got out in the garden today. It was such a gorgeous day. It's only out there a few minutes too. So when I say I'm going to pause, things will just roll straight on for yourself with the video. I just say usually I'm going to pause because sometimes I will remove this from the frame and bring something else in, and people get confused and think that I have missed a bit or the film is out of order or something. Beautiful. As you can see, I've taken my glasses off so I can line these up a bit better. For anyone that's new to my business or new to me, I do have a bit of low vision, and sometimes I need to be quite close to line something up. Or sometimes I need to take my glasses off to line something up because they're distance vision glasses and I'm doing quite close work at the moment. That one is a little off balance, but that's okay. As I said, we can trim them up. I'm just wondering if I can cheat and line this up. Line. I didn't think of this. Ooh, we're going to be able to cheat. So if I line this stencil up that we've just inked through, just got a better way of doing this, and then line the decorative stencil off, and then somehow get that solid stencil. Actually, I could probably leave the solid stencil in there and stencil through both. Let me try that. Let me try and experiment on this one, and I'll show you an easy way of doing it. Now I've done a hard way for so many. This is one of our new release stencils, and I haven't played with it a lot, but I want to play with it more. So if I can work out this trick, see if it worked. Oh, I must have moved it a bit. Let's see if this works. So line this one up because they're exactly lined up. So if you line the two stencils up, lay one stencil over the top of the other without moving them. I think I just moved it a little. and then we line top stencil up without moving the bottom stencil. See how that goes. Because when I designed this stencil, I had all the shapes sitting on one sheet. I copied it and deleted what I didn't need to cut on the second one. So they do line up perfectly. And as I said, I've got low vision, so I struggle to line things up perfectly. But I really don't mind. Wow, we did a bad job with that one. That's all right. We're going to trim them down anyway. I'll go back to doing it this way. So whatever is easier for you to line it up. And obviously some people keep their stencils really, really clean. And some people like to keep them messy like me. I'm going to do this one upside down because it'll probably be easier to see what I'm doing. So now I've had good practice, we should get all the next ones perfect. And if it's not perfect, I'm not really worried. If I'm after perfection, I'd use die cuts and stick paper behind them, but I thought we'd do some inking today. So they are looking rather gorgeous. So let's bring our other sheet back. Let's get those glasses out of here because I'll not wear them at the moment. Oops, that's upside down. So I could go as dark as I want. If you want your baubles a lot darker, just keep going over and over them. If you want them to be more grey, stop when you're happy. Oh, beautiful. I'm getting better at lining them up. And it would probably help if you didn't have black paint on your stencil, but hey, that's okay. I was using it earlier today. I didn't clean it properly. It'll all work out in the wash, won't it? Yes. That's right, you often buy baubles in packets that are not perfectly stamped and printed. Or is it just me that gets those sets? So you could easily leave some of these undecorated as well. And just say, just put the decorated layer of these cutout ones on top. So there are lots of different ways to do this, depending on what way you want to play. And there's no reason why you couldn't do this on cards as well. Don't have to necessarily do it on a scrapbook page. Oops. Awesome. Well, I've got the little one going. Let's do this one. So the little ones don't take much time at all. Nearly finished. I know. It's a bit boring watching me colour in baubles, isn't it? I'd love to see... Oh, trying not to put black fingerprints everywhere. Let's... I don't want to turn that over. Let's lay that over there so I don't touch the white thing because I'm known for getting black fingerprints everywhere. If you do make something inspired by what I've done, even if you don't use my product, so this is one of my stencils, so it's available on my store. If I remember while this class is playing, I'll pop up a link. But it is the store is the same as the business name, which is Scrapbooking Craft. So you can go on the website and purchase your stencil. Even if you don't use this stencil, if you use something else and create a layout inspired by something you've seen in one of my classes, I'd love to have a sticky beak at it. If you post to social media, tag Scrapbooking and I often search for that tag to see what you lovely ladies have been up to with and gentlemen, with my products. I still get a kick out of finding something online that's used one of my products and go, oh, that's so cute. And I've been known to send packages out to people as well sometimes, randomly. Okay, let's put those glasses back on because I need to see something. Okay, now we have got that looking fantastic, and I only got one grubbiness. Oh, I've got a bit of grubbiness. We're going to cover all that up. I'm sure you guys won't have grubby fingerprints everywhere. Now we are just going to fussy cut these out. So what ones do I want? Well, I might put a blue one and look good there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so I don't have to fussy cut every single one of them. And I'll probably pause the camera and, so I'm just going to roughly cut them out. They're quite simple shapes to cut out anyway. Let me get my roller paper towel out of the bin so I can, so I'm going to put that one there. Let me just place things around and then I don't have to cut things that I don't need. Sorry if I'm off camera. I've got to see what I'm cutting. Another one up there, maybe, maybe not. Maybe not that one. Okay, let's see where we can put some of these little ones. When I fussy cut, I tend to roughly cut them out like this anyway, because it's easier to trim off a little bit than trim when you've got a big bit of card sitting there. Oh, we might have that one sort of over here. We have a yellow one. I'm trying not to have too many of the same colour next to each other, and I could play around and procrastinate with this. Oh, there goes a bauble on the floor now. All day, but I'm going to stick and plonk today. Channel my inner sticking and plonking and not procrastinating. So otherwise, instead of being an hour, this class will be like 3 hours long, which is usually how long I take to procrastinate and do something. Checking the time. Plenty of time. Okay, so we might have something like that in there. These top layers I'm going to put up on like foam tape or something. So we've got 1, 2, 3, want an odd number up the top. So do I want a blue or a pink sort of here? Okay, I think that's looking good, so that will cover that up. That will, and I'll cover these marks up in a minute. So I've got 3 spare ones. Before I start picking those up and touching them, I'm going to clean up my fingers because I've got a bit of black ink on them. Before I put dirty fingerprints on more stuff, I'm actually wondering if, because, ooh, I can probably do that. Because this ink is water reactive, if I'm very gentle with my baby white, maybe I can get rid of these couple of little marky things I've got. Obviously not the big one down the bottom, but the ones that are quite faint, that are clearly fingerprint smudges. I might be able to take them off. Oh, I think I have. Or it's just I can't see them again. Either way. Okay. So these are quite easy shapes to cut out. So you don't need dies or anything like that. So I'm going to cut them with a little bit of blue on the outside. I'll cut one and then I'll pause the video and then I'll go cut the rest. Because you don't need to see me cut paper because it is rather boring. I like to video these classes because then I can cut out drying times, I can cut out boring cutting of things. So you just get the good bits and you don't have to watch the boring bits. Okay. So this is going to look cool. Let me fussy cut the rest of those and I will be back once I've done that. Stop touching the white paper because I'll get grubby fingerprints again. Okay, so I have fussy cut these out. That one, that one, that one, and that one, and that one. So now what I want to do, start with this one. I want to just edge them in black. And to edge them, I just take my ink pad directly to my shape because I do it that way. You can do it any way you like. If I do show you a way to do something in a class and you have a better way to do it, go for it, do it your way. Don't have to copy the way I do things because sometimes it's a bit weird. It's just going to make them pop just a little bit more. Probably not the best for your ink pad, but oh well. Just want to have them defined a bit more and they'll just bounce a bit more off the page or jump off the page. I sometimes do this with a pen or a texture if I want a slightly darker line, but I just want it very subtle tonight. Just having trouble getting in that. The curves are the annoying bits to get in, but you get there. And this one and this one. Adding just a little layer of ink is sometimes just enough to make the layers pop. And I'm having trouble just distinguishing which ones are cutouts and which ones are actually on the page. It's funny. We're going to pop these up on a bit of foam tape so they'll have a bit of dimension. Then I'm going to draw strings from all of them because at the moment they're floating and I don't like floating things. Okay. Now, we're going to do that. That's definitely got to plug up that yuck that I put down there. Maybe I'll do this one over here. No, but then... Okay. So maybe we do. I don't mind that too. Oh, hang on. Maybe I'll hang it that way. Maybe I'll swap those two around. No, but then I've got pink and pink. See, I'm procrastinating. No, just do it the way you were going to do it. They're all clustered except this one's floating. I can't pull him down any further, can I? That's okay. I like that. When I string that one to that one, it won't float anymore. Okay, so diving into my stash of trying to be good and use stuff up this year. So I've got bits and bits, and where did I put my glue? Let me grab my glue. I was trying to be a good girl and clean up since the last class. See, I shouldn't clean up because then the things aren't where I left them to use them again. So this is just some kids' fun foam with some adhesive I've already put in the back quite a while ago. So I'm just going to use some chunks of that. And I've got some smaller pieces to use as well. So sometimes I use foam tape, sometimes I use kids' fun foam. There's a product called clear silicone you can use, which is basically, it's like clear glue, but it dries bumpy, it dries raised. That's really cool if you don't want to see stuff, but you're not going to see this under it. So I must have put this tape on this ages ago, and it sat in my box. And now it's time to use it. I'm just going to put a little bit up the top, so you don't have to cover it entirely with foam tape. I probably put too much on it, but better if you have too much than not enough. Now I'm just going to add some glue. because we only had tape on one side. I tend to add glue to foam tape anyway because I find sometimes it comes off. So just using some good craft glue. This one's nearly empty, so I have to give it a bit of a shake so the glue decides to get down to the tip. Should have grabbed my other one. Oh, I don't know. Do you do the same thing? Do you struggle and struggle until the glue is totally empty? And you should just buy a new one and be done with it. See how that's lifting up really nicely? So I'm just being careful not to hang it over the side of the bauble, and I think I did. No, I missed that one, which was good. Come on, fingers, work and get the tape off the back. That would be handy. What I might do is you don't need to see me struggle with my foam tape. So what I'm going to do is pause the video and sit here and put foam tape on all the back of these, and then I can just glue them on, because that's a bit boring watching me struggle with foam tape. Let me pause out the boring bits. Well, that was a fiddly task. Glad I cut all that out for you. Just going to stick a pair of scissors down my glue. And I'm going to stick these on now. Where did these go? Oh no, can you tell me where they went? I think that one went up there. No. That one must have went there. That one must have went there. Did that one go there? Oh, now I've got one left over. Oh, that one went down here. Should have taken a photo before I took them all off. Hint, snap a photo if you're working with millions of pieces. Well, it's not million, it's 5. If you're working with multiple pieces and you've got to take them off to put foam tape or something on, snap a photo on your phone. Then you know exactly where they go. Usually I do that, but I didn't quite remember. I just took them all off. There we go. There's that one stuck. It's the glue. You've got a bit of wiggle room to sort of wiggle it into place too, which is always good. I'm going to wipe the top of my glue so it doesn't be annoying. I'm just going to stand that up for a second. It's got that wet baby wipe in my hand again, just seeing if I can take off any little bits. So I've got a couple of marks over here, but I'm going to stick more stuff over here. And really, in the whole scheme of things, if there's a couple of little marks on my page, I'm really not perturbed. Because if I rub too hard, I'm going to rub paper off. Okay, I've got to go get my photo mat and my other embellishments and my pens, and I will be back. Okay, so I'm back. I have got a piece of black cardstock to sit in for my photo, and I've got a white photo mat. I'm just going to show you a trick if you want to be able to line things up really easily. So you want to put a piece of double-sided tape along each edge, but you don't want it to overlap and you need it to be in one single piece. Doesn't matter if you've got gaps like this. Then from each piece of tape you want to grab one end, doesn't matter which end, and you want to fold it, expose some of the tail and sort of crease it with your finger and fold it back so you can grab it if this is upside down. Okay, so we've got something like this. Doesn't matter if, like, you can have this tail and this tail touching at the same bit. Doesn't matter which end of the tape you take it off. And then I'm just going to push that up there so I can see what I'm doing. Then you can take this and lay it over the piece you are trying to put it on, which I know it's hard to see on white. You can slide it round because not a lot of tape is exposed, and when you are happy where you've put it, press it down where the tape is exposed, pop your hand on it and gently pull. They curl up and they're really cool. And then you can get it nice and straight. For me, sometimes I don't get it straight, 100% perfect, but I don't really mind because that's just me. I blame my eyesight when I can't get it straight. Let's just... obviously got black or ink or something on the mat. Okay, obviously our photo mat is white and our page is white. So I thought we'd bring in some layers of obviously white. I'm going to change them in a minute and bring in some layers of paper to put under our mat. And I'm going to use yellow, pink, purple. So this is a trick if you don't have a matching cardstock and you've used ink. I'm going to use the Big Hummer this time. I love this one for doing big areas. I'm just going to put my photo mat up there. And I'm going to start with obviously yellow being the lightest colour again. I'll let me put that completely out of the way because I can see that toppling off the back of my desk. So I'm just going to clean, obviously I had yellow in this. let's get rid of that foam tape. So I'm going to take Wild Honey. I was trying to think of the name of it. I've just got more inky stuff up here. This glass mat is fantastic to work on. Things just wipe straight off. So I'm going around and round. And I'm just going to put some colour on these bits of cardstock. So now I can put some layers of colour. We don't want to do that. Be careful you don't crinkle your bit, because that'll stick down all right. So this is a way to get matching pieces of colour if you're inked. Because I know matching cardstock, I was trying to match greens the other day for a project. I think I had 100 greens and I couldn't find 2 bits that matched. So this is a good way of... Just a moment. Oh, if you sort of see me then, I jumped 2 feet when I heard that noise. That was my telly had come off sleep mode. I'd paused it. And then a little girl, as you heard, a little girl, and I'm thinking, I'm home alone. Where's that voice coming from? It was the TV. I went and muted it now. Oh, my God. Made me jump about 2 feet, I think. It's going to clean that up. It's spooky when I'm home alone. Usually I have YouTube or I have music or I have the TV in the background, even sometimes when I'm not watching it. When I'm filming videos, it's so quiet. It's eerie. Let's do pink on this one. And then all of a sudden I hear a voice. There you go. So if you're wanting to cover big areas, these big blending tools, I find I get a smoother blend. Not wanting it perfect, so if it's a little patchy, I'm not really worried. So cool, my glass mat to clean up. They are so much fun to have. Easy to clean up. And I love this big one from We Are Memory Keepers because it takes my big journal, takes a big 12-inch page, and I still have room to throw a mess. So now we're doing seedless preserves. I may end up cutting these bits of paper down. I just sort of grab some offcuts of cardstock to put under. Obviously I just got a big blob of purple there. I'm not the best at ink blending and this is not the best card, but I just want a bit of colour to stick under my photo mat. Get those off the table. Let's not go and throw them on the layer. Put this away. Wet baby wipe and then paper towel, and then we are right to go. Awesome. As you can see, I don't take sheets off my paper towel. I just sort of use it with the roll, and then eventually when those sheets get yucky, I take it off and might just give these a bit of a blast with a heat tool because it is a fair bit of ink. Just want to make sure they're dry. Now I may find I need the blue. So photo can go either way, but I think I'm going to do portrait. I'm just going to have a play around with my layers. So I deliberately did bigger pieces so I can chop them down if I need to be. When I'm doing layers like this, I like them to be sort of, obviously I'm going to cut that down a bit, higgledy-piggledy. I'm not wanting them to be all the same. And I think maybe we need a bit of blue in it as well. I'll just turn the yellow around a bit. Don't think I want that yellow as deep. Okay, so I want to cut the pink off about there. Whoops. Cutting straight would be good. I should take it to my paper trimmer. Actually, I'll go clean up my paper trimmer because I've got to cut a bit of blue because I think I need to bring a bit of blue into it as well. Let me get a bit of blue cardstock. Oh, blue. Oh, my God. Let me get a bit of white and throw some blue ink on it. Okay, so I've just inked a bit of blue. I didn't turn the camera back on because you've already seen me do it twice. So this one is just going to sit under, poke it up a bit. It's going to sit straight when I stick it down. So it's going to sit like that. Then I went and dove into my Christmas stash of chipboard, and I've got Home for Christmas. Won't we all want to be home for Christmas? Okay. I think I'm liking that. And I'm going to do some pen work on it, and I think we are nearly getting there and nearly done. Awesome. Okay, now to stick all this down. What I like to do is build the cluster from the top up. If you like to do it another way, do it your way. So I will stick a bit of tape on the piece that I am wanting to stick, and hopefully not stick it to anything else. And still keeping these lined up, hopefully. See, they look like cardstock. You wouldn't even know we've inked them. I'm going to, and I stuck the tape on where I didn't want it. Good start to the day. Don't stick it right to the edge. There we go. We rescued it, and we're just going to whack a bit of ink on the bit. Oh, get off. Tape, get off my finger. Okay, no mistakes. We can fix anything because I goof up all the time. Where's the blue? See, didn't even know I did it. I have got plenty of tricks to correct goof ups and stuff up because gee, I do them all the time. Let's get that ink out of there, otherwise I'm going to have it halfway up my arm. Now, without putting tape right to the edge where we didn't want it, I'm going to pick this up, and I wanted it like that, and stick it down, and then I'm going to play with my pieces again. How did I have them? I had that one. That one goes like that, and the yellow goes like, where did I have the pink coming down? I had the pink coming down a bit more. Okay, so I want the yellow to come out a bit, so I'm going to put a bit of tape here with the yellow. So I sort of tap them down, and then I will tape them a bit better later. I'm wanting them to be like a funky rectangle. I don't want them to be sort of all even, if that makes sense. So when I line this one up, I sort of want, see how it's coming down there? So I want that like that. And then I can always tuck this one. So this pink one I don't want as low as the yellow one. The purple one. And then how did I have this? It's a problem when you start moving them around. Okay, I think I like it like that. Okay, so I'm going to do this bit next, the pink bit next. If you prefer to stick yours on and stick on the bottom and then keep going up and up and up, that is great, and you can do it that way if you like. So I'm going to sort of mimic, trying to mimic the blue with the pink down the bottom, sort of the size of the edge, and then hopefully this one will work. Where did I have it? I had it coming, or do I want it? Do I want it? Ooh! I think I like it like that. Now that I've moved around. Oh, I forgot to stick my microphone back on. Hopefully the noise has been alright. Noise. Call myself noise. Hopefully the volume has been alright. It does go quiet, just turn up your volume. But the microphone usually picks up from where I clip it when I get up. Okay, how do I have that? See, if this was alive, you could tell me. And I can always decide if I want it to go that way. Nope, definitely don't like it that way. There we go. Now I could have raised some of those layers with foam tape. I could raise the whole thing with foam tape. Do I want to raise the whole thing with foam tape? No, because they look rather funny. Let's just stick it down plain because I've got foam raised baubles and I'm going to have chipboard that's raised a little. So now what I'll do is I'll put strips of tape all over the back here, overlapping all the pieces, and that'll be enough to stick it down. It's always fun trying to get white tape off white paper. So if you're after these distress oxide inks or basically anything anything for mixed media for scrapbooking, my friend Jen from Hillbilly Scrapping has a huge range. That's where I go shopping and get all my supplies. I basically, on my website, I sell what I manufacture and my daughter sells paper napkins. So I sell the stencils and the chipboard. If you're after any of the oxide inks, I will hopefully remember when I hear myself say this to pop a link in the description, in the chat bar for Hillbilly Scrapping. She's also one of the exhibitors upside down at the Craft Alive event and can be found in the exhibition hall as well, or exhibition hall on the Craft Alive website. I think that's what they call it. Okay, and we've got our chipboard word up there, and colour-wise, I think I'm going to go black. So I've got black archival ink. Just going to grab, let's get rid of that dirty paper towel. I usually just ink directly onto my glass mat, but not with archival because it's just messy to clean up, and I have to go find the hand sanitizer, and it's just easy to do it on the paper towel. So I'm going to do the really lazy brush over ink pad method. I could paint this, I could do it with a coloured texture on top. If you're wanting it a dark colour like black, you don't have to prep it at all, but if you're wanting it a light colour, say I wanted it yellow or something, I'd give it an undercoat of gesso just to seal it, because the chipboard is very absorbent and it will just suck up your colour. Suck up your colour. Oh, God, words. These classes are just funny. But this is me in real life. Sometimes I struggle with words. And, oh, wow. Okay, now I'm going to stick the chipboard on, and then I'm going to do some pen work. And then we're nearly finished. Let me leave that dry, then we'll do some pen work. So what I want to do with my pen work is I want to have my baubles hanging. So I'm going to turn my sheet upside down. And I'm going to sort of draw a couple of sketchy lines. So it looks like these baubles are hanging, and then I'm going to go back and do, I really like these squiggly lines lately. I've done this on a couple of, I think I've done this on a art journal page the other day. So putting the squiggly line over the flat line just makes it look really cool. And it doesn't matter if some of your strings are crooked, because they're just flying in the wind. So I'm trying not to get dirty fingerprints on this at all. So I'm wanting to, I keep turning this around. By turning it upside down, you can sort of feed where your strings are going. And this will also send some of your shapes into the background and bring some of them forward by the way the strings are going. Oops, that's a bit of a messy string. That's right. Okay, and I want to bring this string up here. And this up here, and that's sort of going to join to that one. So I'm just using a, I've got to say, a Uni Ball Eye Micro from Officeworks. This is a permanent black, like sort of fine linery pen. I find it great to do drawing with, and I use it for sketching and all sorts of fun stuff. Ooh, I like that. Now this one needs string in here. See how the, now this one is on top, and I don't want to put a string, okay, because I don't want to put a string right in the middle of that. but I don't think that's going to look, I'm just going to pull it up a bit. I don't think it's going to look out of place without a string, because I don't want to draw right up in the middle of this one. And technically it's sitting on top of it. But I don't think it looks out of place without a string. And then what I'm going to do is just a wiggly border around the edge, just to border my page. I find doing 3 wiggly lines, just sort of offset because you can't get them exactly perfect, is better than having 1 wiggly line and it looking funny. So if you do 3, and see how I'm moving my page around, it is so much easier to have your hand going the one way than trying to do a wiggly line like this. It is for me anyway. So what I'm going to do is not do, oh god, that's really wiggly, not do them over the baubles here, because then it pushes the baubles to the front of the page. Oh my god, that is getting wiggly. And I'm just going to go, sort of the border is going behind these baubles. So what I can do is to tie in my wiggliness that I've put on my bauble strings. Every so often I'm just going to do a wiggly line, like faux stitching. You could stitch around it. This there is no problem with grabbing your sewing machine and stitching around that, but that involves going and getting my sewing machine out of the box, setting up the table, and I'm being lazy. So faux stitching works really, really well. So I'm just scribbling. The scribbly the better. It doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, I'm really liking this. And what you can do, and I'm thinking if I need to, knowing when to stop is something you need to learn. And unfortunately you need to learn that by yourself, because I still learning that, and if I don't have the skill, I can't teach you the skill. Yeah, knowing when to stop is hard. So what I'm thinking is if I need a bit of line work on these layers, because this is very detailed and this is very plain, it's looking a bit out of place. So let's just go for it. What's the worst? I stuff it up and have to start filming again. That's all right. I think this is going to look good. So I'm going to just draw again the same sort of wiggly line around my layers, and I think that's just going to top it off nicely. Now I'm going to do it around the pink, and then I'm going to see if I need it around the purple and around the yellow, so I may only do it on 2 layers. Let's see what happens. So I don't think I'll do the wiggly lines on these. I'm just doing the fairly straight lines, as straight as I could get them. So we've got this up here. Actually, I think I might leave the yellow and the purple by itself without the wiggly lines, because these baubles in the back are sort of straight on the colour. I always just can't decide. I'm going to leave it. I've made a decision. It's going to be fine. I'm going to leave it. So all I do is stick on my Home for Christmas. I could have glittered this up. I could have heat embossed it. But it will, doing it black, it'll tone in with the baubles. And when I cut a photo and put it on here, I don't have a photo at the moment, I will leave a little bit of this black border and it will all tie in together as well. And this black helps to tie in the squiggly, let me think. The squiggly lines I've just drawn on my page. So I just want to drop that there. Is it straight? Huh, no, what a surprise. Let's straighten it. Let's straighten it up. So it's one of my chipboard words, Home for Christmas. And I think that is done. So thank you very much for coming along, and if you've been watching all of my classes, thank you so much. If you've got any questions or queries after the classes, don't hesitate to contact me on social media for Scrapbookingncraft. And I can't wait to see you at another Gics event. I will be trying to do more regular lives on my Facebook channel, again, Scrapbookingncraft, over the next few weeks, hoping to do about 1 a week. It's just life's a bit hectic at the moment, and unfortunately my daughter comes first and she sucks a lot of my time at the moment, and it's not a lot of time left for me, but I'm trying. So I will pop on that Facebook page. So if you like the page, you'll get notifications if I pop up and do a live. Sometimes I impromptu do them. Sometimes I give you some notice. It just depends on what happens. But thank you so much for viewing all of my classes. If you do want to purchase the stencil or the chipboard, they will be linked under a special folder called Gics11 on my website for probably a month or so till I get a chance to take it down. And I think that's about all I've got to say. Bye for now.